is 2 in a quadratic equation, so it has two roots. And the nature of these roots is described by using discriminant. Discriminant is an expression b square minus 4ac, which is equal to a number, and this number tells us about the nature of the roots of the quadratic equation. If the value of the discriminant is less than 0, the nature of root is they are unequal and imaginary. And if it is equal to 0, then the nature of root is they are real and equal. If the discriminant is greater than 0 and this positive number is a perfect square, then the roots are real, unequal and rational. And if it is not a perfect square, then roots are real, unequal but irrational. The quadratic equations are solved by using three methods: the factorization method, by completing square, and by using quadratic formula. Now let's consider a quadratic equation x square minus 6x plus 5 equal to 0. In this quadratic equation we are applying three methods: factorization, completing square, and the quadratic formula. So when we discuss about the factorization method, this method is not conveniently applicable for all the quadratic equations, but it is a simple method and it can be used for some specific quadratic equations. Like here, we have x square minus 6x plus 5 equal to 0. We have to find the factors of 5 which when added or subtracted gives 6. So 5 is a factor 1 and 5, which when added becomes 6 and which when multiplied becomes 5. This term is called the sum and this is called the product. Now expanding it, we have minus 5x minus x plus 5 equal to 0. Taking x as a common factor between these two terms, we get x times x minus 5 minus common, we get x minus 5 equal to 0. x minus 5 is a common term and the remaining terms are x minus 1 equal to 0. When we simplify it for the values of x, we get either x is equal to 5 or x is equal to 1. Now for the completing square method, the rule says write the quadratic equation in the standard form, then add and subtract square of half coefficient of x, then rearrange the terms. This will become a whole square or a perfect square, and this can be written as the square of 2. When applying the square root, we get two terms, either it is positive or negative 2. Solving it for the value of x, we get x is equal to 5 or x is equal to 1. Now for the quadratic formula, we know that the quadratic formula is x is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. This formula is applicable for all type of quadratic equations, and this expression is called the general roots of the quadratic equation. Now, putting the value of a, b and c from this quadratic equation and the quadratic formula and solving it for the values of x, we get x is equal to 5 or x is equal to 1. While solving quadratic equations, you have to remember two things. In the factorization method, cancelling of x on both sides of, for example, equation is 6x squared equal to 30x. This means that the loss of one root, that is, x is equal to 0. So we should not cancel x. And in completing square method, we make the coefficient of x square equal to 1 for our convenience. The quadratic equation can always be solved without this step. Quadratic equations have a vast application. As we have already discussed, a quadratic equation has no real solution if the discriminant is less than 0. It means the root